I didn't have a chance to watch the whole thing yet, but did you guys get a chance to watch Without Remorse?
Yeah, man. I was actually watching it before we recorded today. I'm not gonna lie, I actually enjoyed the movie, and I wouldn't mind if they did more in that direction, with Michael B. Jordan and whatnot. I think it was cool. Like, you know what I mean? I think you definitely should watch it if you have the chance. If you have Amazon Prime, you should watch that, and then go and watch Conflicted, and then you'll have a good little movie weekend.
Or watch Conflicted first, then watch Michael B. Jordan. Listen, man. Listen, the way Conflicted ends is a nice way to build up into Without Remorse. That's all I can say.
Listeners, two totally different type of movie. But Without Remorse, though, I give it 2 thumbs up. I thought it was a dope action movie. It had thriller vibes. I'm kind of big on like thriller, crime type of shit because I think it's kind of like real. It could be realistic to the real world, so I get entertained by that. It's kind of cool. I'm not going to go into details, so listeners can have a chance for spoilers, whatever. But what I will say is there's a little bit of controversy with this movie. So if you never read the Tom Clancy, the original book or whatever, or books, you may fall in love with this movie. You may think this movie is amazing. But if you did read the books, apparently it doesn't follow the book at all, like nothing at all. And there's people who are apparently quote unquote fans of the book that don't like the movie because it does not follow the book at all. They say it's a bad adaptation of the movie. So I don't know. I haven't read the book, nor I'm going to go read the fucking book because I don't care to. So
you don't read.
No, come on. But I just think like the movie, as just from an entertainment standpoint, without no knowledge of the original book, I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was very entertaining. So I just think, and it's kind of like me and Nigel, how we was thinking about the Mortal Kombat thing, and maybe we could go tit for tat for that. But I just thought this movie was solid. It was really good for me.
Yeah, I would watch it again actually.
Yeah, like I'll probably I was actually watching it. I had like a little bit of time before we recorded, so I started watching some of it. So I can't really pose an opinion yet in terms of like my thoughts on the whole movie, but I will say this in response to the people that are critics about it. History has always shown us that there is rare occasions that the movie is a pure adaptation of the book, right? I don't care. You can name any classic movie, a classic movie. The Color Purple, for instance, which is based off a book, is not a pure adaptation of the book.
Yeah, but go ahead, my bad.
Like, well, I say that to say like now, granted, I understand like you have other things like when you look at like comic books or other things like that, or like something that's not as like thick in terms of like a reading substance of like just a novel, right? Like when you look at just a novel, it's impossible to take a 300-page book, right, and somehow find a way of making it a hour and a half movie and having every finite detail while following the storyline. And let's be honest, a lot of times in books, a lot of great books, the things that make them so great is the imagery that they give you, and that's something that you read because you feel you're there, right? In a movie, you don't have time to set like that type of ambiance like throughout the whole movie in certain cases. So that's my only opinion when it comes to the critics. Like, listen, anybody that's ever read a book typically has never been a fan of a movie that's been made. Like history, that's always been throughout history.
Well, I'm gonna disagree with you, and I'm not trying to say you're totally wrong, but I think that it's kind of depends on who's handling the movie. Because I'm not a fan of the Harry Potter series. I will never go watch a Harry Potter movie. I just don't give a fuck. I don't.
Jeez. I don't. Lau got all the smoke tonight.
But that's not like Harry Potter.
What I will say though is Harry Potter is loved and adored. A lot of people love the franchise, and I don't hear people complain at all saying, "Hey, this is a shitty adaptation of the books." Because if you have some movie trivia knowledge, like, hey, those literally came from the books. So I think it just depends on who is handling the movie. So I can't say the Tom Clancy shit is wrong because I never read the book. But according to people on Twitter, Instagram, blah, 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 they say, hey, this is completely not the book. Fuck this movie, da, da, da. I mean, there's some other reasons why I think why they're saying it. I think you guys know why too. But
Yeah.
but outside of that, I just really think that is depending
Yeah.
why it's fucking like excuse me, it's depending whoever's handling the movie.
I think that does play a factor in terms of who handles the movie and how much the author is part of the movie, of the making of the movie. But there's less likelihood that you'll see a pure adaptation of a book into a movie, right? So, like, I think, and when you do see a good representation of it, they're typically movies that last 3 hours, practically, or 2.5 hours. So it in those types of cases, it's you find those good movies, you can find those good adaptations, but it's very hard to, and it's hard to create something like that that fits the attention span of the viewer. So, and I mean, like you said, like I think there's always other factors that make people not like a movie. So, and I mean, that's just the case that it is. Like a lot of times
Yeah.
people are diehards for fictional characters.
I mean,
Yeah.
So
I think it really all depends. You know what I mean? Kind of like Lau said, like it really all depends because, like, you know, in some cases you'll see a movie that's like some people will say is too loyal to the source
Right.
material. You know what I mean? So like it really all depends on how you like add and subtract things to make your version of the story work. You know?
right.
So
So
I guess it kind of is what it is.
I got a question real quick though.
What's up?
So from
Okay.
what I watched of the movie so far, it allowed me to go in the memory lane with Michael B. Jordan and all the movies he's been in, right? From
Okay.
Fruitvale Station all the way up to now, even to The Wire, right?
Okay.
And I think we all know he's on the trajectory that he has is like in a positive. So like just from seeing this movie, where do you think this what direction do you think this may end up taking him in terms of
Oh,
like
number one.
He's going up.
He's
you
gonna.
think
He's
I
going
think.
up.
Yeah, man. I think he's gonna be one of the number ones. And
Yeah.
what I just think that the guy is very versatile. Like he's versatile. You know what I mean? Like, granted, yeah, we just seen him in Black Panther a couple years ago, but if just like you mentioned, the guy can do multiple roles. Because before this, remember the movie he just did with Jamie Foxx when he was playing like a lawyer trying to help Jamie Foxx beat the case.
Oh, I didn't watch that one. I remember hearing about that though.
A lot of people praised it. So it's just kind of like Michael B. Jordan. He got it. Like he may be the guy. You know what I'm saying? So
Like
I think this movie is just another pat on the back on his resume of acting.
Yeah, no, his trajectory is going up for sure. It's a good movie. Like you should watch it. You know what I mean? Like if you like good movies and whatnot, like it's a little espionage thriller type situation. You know, it's not so bad.
from what I've seen so far and understanding his history, it gives me the vibe that he's definitely in the elk of like Jamie Foxx and Will Smith. I'm not going to say Denzel Washington because there's always an argument with Denzel Washington. But in terms of versatility, I can see him being in that elk. So
Yeah, man. Shouts out to Michael B, aka one of the faces of the young generation actors. So
yeah, he might. Who knows? He might skip the next Oscars and be like, "Yo, give me a gaming awards." Because technically speaking, when I watched part of the movie, it reminded me of like Splinter Cell.
okay,